The football team which reflects that toughness. When lightning strikes in Giants Stadium, it's the NFL's #1 defense that is usually responsible. It's style that counts. It's a city that worships stars. These days, their matinee idols wear helmets and face masks. This year, it's defense that has carried the Rams. And they'll need that tough defense because starting quarterback Dieter Brock won't play. Jeff Kemp will start. It's East versus West, featuring two of pro football's most powerful forces. A rematch of last year's wild card game. It will be L.A. Cool versus New York Heat. Everyone, good morning out on the West Coast. A sellout crowd will watch this game, and we have California-type weather. The temperature is 68 degrees. The Los Angeles Rams in the Western Division are in great shape. They lead the 49ers by 3 games. The 49ers next play tomorrow night. Meanwhile, these Giants are tied for first in the NFC East with Dallas, and later today, Dallas plays at Washington, a game which most people will see here on CBS, and so it has the makings of a great afternoon in the National Football League. I'm Jack Buck with Hank Stram, and Hank, Jeff Kemp will start. He was cool about it, and it's not like he hasn't started before.
You're right, Jack. You know, he helped that team win 9 games last year and get into the playoffs. So he's not just like a rookie coming in off the street. Plus the fact that really they don't expect the quarterback of the Rams to win the game. He's like a chauffeur driving a Rolls Royce. He's not the motor, he's the steering wheel. And all they want him to do is keep it on the road.
And there is Schubert, who is going to be kicking it off. Eric is a story in himself. 5 for 5 last week in the game against Tampa Bay. 49ers won the toss. They wanted the ball, and there's Ron Brown. He's the deep man. He's one of the fastest men in football, and has averaged more than 29 yards per kickoff return. And the Giants probably want to play defense here at the start, Hank.
Yeah, as good as they are defensively, they're going to worry about field position, and I think in the final analysis, Jack, the kicking game could really make the difference in this game.
It is right across the 15 and across the 20 and out to the 23-yard line. And we shall go from there. So Schubert kicked the ball into the corner. That's where the coverage was, and Gary Reasons, the linebacker, made the tackle. Jeff Kemp will be the quarterback. Eric Dickerson is the running back. Tony Hunter, the U-back. Henry Ellard, Bobby Duckworth, the wide receivers. David Hill, the tight end. And up front, very good offensive line. We'll watch Herb Pankey on with Kent Hill, the center, Doug Smith, Dennis Harrah, and Jackie Slater. Some very interesting matchups today. And a first down from the Rams' 23-yard line with Dickerson in the backfield.
One thing we have to look for early is Pankey blocking on Marshall.
Dickerson got good yards out across the 30 to the 31. Got almost 8 yards. And the tackle was made by Harry Carson. And here's the defense of the Giants. A 3-man front. Curtis McGriff, Jim Burt on the nose, and Leonard Marshall. The 4 linebackers are very good. Byron Hunt, Gary Reasons. And we'll see Banks in there today. Harry Carson and Lawrence Taylor. Elvis Patterson, Perry Williams on the corners, Kenny Hill and Terry Kennard at the safeties, and we'll see some of Mark Haynes today. It is 2nd down and 3. And a big hit stops that play. And the tackle was made by Jim Burt, the nose guard. It'll be 3rd down coming up. And they put in Bill Bain on the offensive line in the short yardage situation, Hank.
Well, he's especially strong. He's very big, and especially if he can get a rolling start, he makes things happen, and he moves the defensive line, especially that left side.
It is 3rd down and 1. This is what this game's going to be all about most of the afternoon. These two teams just slugging it out. Look at that front of the Giants. They have 8 men up there, 3rd and 1. Redden is in front of Dickerson. Toss to Dickerson. And a first down. He stretched out and got it near the 34, and Greason's number 55 made another tackle.
Watch Tony Hunter, number 87, on the right side of your screen. He gets a good block on the corner. He gets a headlock. He'd be a great wrestler.
He wasn't holding, was he?
No, not much. They didn't see it, however, and the big thing is they made the first down. There's a picture of Tony Hunter, number 87.
Good lead fought by Barry Redden on that last play. It's a first down at the 34 for the Rams. Here comes and Hall now. Leaping on top of him was Lawrence Taylor. That won't be the last tackle he'll make today. A couple of yards for Eric.
Watch Taylor, number 56, standing over the tight end. Watch him over Hunter. He gets penetration and breaks right through from the backside and makes the tackle on Eric Dickerson, number 29.
He can shuck some people off, can't he?
Well, the big thing is you can't let him free. You have to block him on every play, get in his face, but he's a great pursuer and a terrific football player, as everybody knows.
2nd and 7, a quickie by Kemp, overthrown. The pressure was really on by Hill out of the backfield. Kenny Hill was on a blitz. And the Rams probably thought they had the perfect call. They looked up and there was Hill, and Kemp had to cough it up, and it's 3rd and 7.
The timing of the blitz by Kenny Hill was perfect. I think it's going to be very important during the course of this game to make sure that the Rams change the rhythm of their count. They can't continue to go on the same count because the defense is going to anticipate it very well and get penetration, just like Kenny Hill did on the last play.
Now a 4-man front for the Giants on 3rd down. Kemp has some mobility. He'll be rolling out of it. A straight drop. Good protection. Breaks down. Tackled. No first down. Well, these Giants get after you. And Los Angeles is going to have to punt. And the Rams told us, even in 3rd and long, Hank, they're not going to try anything crazy, are they?
They're going to be very conservative. No question about that. Jerome Salley, Casey Merrill in there. Watch Merrill, the right end, number 71, going to the outside. And look at on the inside, you see Marshall, and then Casey Merrill gets him from the backside, number 71.
Here's Dale Hatcher to kick, averaging 42 yards plus, and back to get it. A fellow with a lot of spark, Phil McConkey. He's inside his 20.
The wind is blowing from side to side, Jack, and as a result, the drop is very important.
Low snap, high kick, very well covered. Watch out, Phil. Whoa, the ball sailed over his head. That's a legal block. He did not see. Now another official dropped the late flag. Downfield for the Rams was Vince Newsom, and he undressed. He undressed McConkey. McConkey did not signal for a fair catch. And so he was fair game, and these officials under the direction of Jerry Markbright are talking it over. I don't think there was anything wrong with that hit.
I don't know what it could have been. I don't know how they could have called it on that particular player that hit McConkey, because he did not, as you mentioned, Jack, did not signal for the fair catch.
There was no fair catch signal. There is no foul on the play.
That's the way, Jerry.
First down.
I'm glad he agreed with us, aren't you?
That's right. It had to be. That's the only thing he could have called.
That's right. McConkey stood there, fair game, and he really got blasted by Newsom.
Watch McConkey.
The ball goes over his head.
Well, if he signaled for the fair catch, which he does not do, then, of course, he'd has some validity to what happened. But see, he's trying to fake the guy like he's going to make the catch, and he paid for it with a hit.
Some fake, huh? He faked it too good because Newsom thought he had the ball, and they mark it down at the Giant 8-yard line with Phil Simms and Maurice Carthon in front of Morris. The fake to Morris. Pass out here. Bobby Johnson. That's a fumble, folks, and the Rams have the ball, 1st and goal. The ball stayed in bounds, and Mel Owens, the linebacker, has it, and it's 1st and goal after the fumble by Manuel. Manuel had it, and he spun and dropped it, and Owens picked it up, and it's 1st and goal at the 6.
Here we see it's a hitch pattern, very high percentage kind of a pass right in front of Gary Green. Gary makes the tackle, knocks the ball loose. Manuel tries to get it, but there you see Mel Owens, number 58, pounces on the ball, and of course here's Owens right now coming off the field. But here again, great field position, and this is the kind of a game both coaches were talking about and hoping it would be for their particular team. They want to reduce the size of the field as much as they possibly can, and the Rams have certainly done that on this first drive.
The Rams have had 21 interceptions and now 13 fumbles. They can take the ball from you. Madden is in the backfield with Dickerson. Motion by Hunter. Toss to Eric. Sliding and getting close. 2nd and goal out at the 3.
Ball carried by Dickerson.
Bumped out by Terry Kennard along with Lawrence Taylor. There's Bill Parcells. He's in a hole in a hurry. Is he angry or happy? In the last 7 games, this Giant defensive unit has allowed only 1 rushing touchdown, so it's tough to crack it. And it's 2nd and goal from the 3.
Second down.
Bill Bain is in there. No, I think Pankey's in there. I think Bain is in there tight end.
Yeah, he is. You're right. Straight ahead, Dickerson to the goal line and not over. 3rd and goal. Yeah, they're both lined up on the left side with Bain playing the tight end. Kenny Hill made the tackle.
Ball carried by Dickerson. Hill.
Right straight ahead. Look at the surge of the offensive line. Marshall tries to get down the line and get a piece of him, but he gets good push from the offensive line, and especially the right guard, Dennis Hara, and Jackie Slater on the right side, and Doug Smith, number 56, to center.
You're the big play early in the game. Now Kent will just give it to Dickerson. Tosses it to him. Look at the blocking. Redden. And he is 2. And he's over. Touchdown. Touchdown. He just did get over the top of the goal line. The Giants thought they stopped him.
Boy, it was close, and that Giant defensive line really got good penetration and slid right down the line of scrimmage in good shape. Look at the penetration. Pitch to the outside. You don't see Tony Hunter early, but he's blocking on the outside. Eric Dickerson is trying to get into the goal line area. Boy, it's close, and Taylor really makes a good shot right at the line of scrimmage.
But Dickerson got over. One official dropped the flag. He got over the goal line before he was sent back. And it's 6-0 in favor of the Rams after recovering the fumble. 10:27 left in the first quarter. Extra point by Michael Lansford. He's been perfect all year. It's good. And it's an early 7-0 lead. Here's the Ram coach when the touchdown was scored.
Watch John's reaction to the touchdown. He's watching. Boy, nonchalant.
Cool.
Very cool, huh?
After the fumble recovery, 3 plays, 6 yards, a 1-yard run by Dickerson, and it took the Rams 45 seconds, and so the Giants have spotted them 7. Mike Lansford will kick it off, and deepest is George Adams. He has averaged almost 17 yards per kickoff return. And the Giants really haven't broken any long ones. This is a line drive kick that goes to Adams. Took it on the 2, 10. And stood up right near the 20-yard line. Watch Parcells on the last touchdown.
Bill Parcells on the sideline with the official. He's very upset, and I think probably he's talking about the fact that he didn't think that Dickerson broke the plane, and I think that's what he's upset about. Of course, it's very difficult to see from where he is on the sideline. And here's the touchdown again. Let's take another look at it. There's Dickerson. He sees a gap. Watch him get hit in the hole by Taylor. And you really can't tell from here, but the other shot we looked at, why it looked like he did break the plane.
Howard Rowe, the line judge, called the touchdown. Looked like it from up here. Here's little Joe Morris diving for a couple on the handoff from Sims, and he ran into Doug Reed. And a gain of 2 yards. There's the offensive unit for the Giants. Phil Sims with Joe Morris and Carpenter in the backfield. Lina Manuel, he's the one who fumbled. Bobby Johnson, the tight end, the rookie Mark Bavaro out of Notre Dame. And the offensive line, Brad Benson, Billy Ard, Bart Oates, another rookie, Chris Godfrey, and Carl Nelson. 2nd and 8. Sims to the air. And off the hands of the intended receiver, the tight end, Mark Bavaro. It'll be 3rd and 8. Pretty good throw, and Bavaro just couldn't hang on.
You know, in talking to Bill Parcells yesterday, one thing he said about this game, going into the game, they're so much alike, both teams offensively, especially defensively. He said that we hope to create an unsettling effect. That'll be very effective for us if we can do that. We get off to a bad start with that fumble.
We have Jerry Gray and Vince Newman in the Rams defensive backfield. And Sims out of the shotgun on 3rd and 8. And that is could well have been caught. And that was McConkey dropping the ball. Ray got a finger on it perhaps, and it is 4th down, and the Giants will give it right back to the Rams, who should be in great position. And they have a dynamite punt return man.
You talk about a great throw. That was right between two people. I don't know how he got the ball through there, but he threw it in there beautifully, and it should have been caught by McConkey.
John Lendetta leads the NFC in punting. Look at that average. And here's Henry Eller.
And I talked to him before the game, and he was a little concerned. He said the wind's blowing from left to right, sideways, and you really have to drop the ball perfectly if you're going to make a good kick.
Eller has returned 1 for a touchdown. This will bounce, and a good giant bounce inside the 25, and it'll be down at about the 23-yard line. So there's good coverage as a line drive punt, but the Giants got down there and covered it well. The Rams have a long way to go, but they have the lead, 7-0. When this game is over, all of the folks in the country, except those in New York and San Diego, will watch this game. Dallas at Washington. On the first Monday night, Dallas embarrassed the Redskins 44-14. Now Washington takes their 5-4 record, and they'll try to get even with the Cowboys and hope for some help from the Rams here today.
I don't think the Cowboys play nearly as well or as efficiently on grass as they do synthetic turf. And for that reason, I think the psychological edge, really because they won so convincingly the first time, I think the psychological edge will go to Washington.
Tony Hunter is on a wing. David Hill, the tight end. Dickerson, the setback. He'll get a workout today. Changes direction, and Taylor, there's a fumble. No, it's dead. It's dead, folks. It's a dead ball. Dead ball, no touchdown. Lawrence Taylor and Perry Williams made the tackle, and the official blew it dead, and this crowd is rapidly getting upset with the officials, but I think that was a good call also. And Dickerson got 2 yards.
Watch the defense pursue. Pankey's going, trying to block Marshall. And this great thing that Dickerson does is cut back away from the flow, but that time the right linebacker, Lawrence Taylor, was playing the cutback and made a great tackle on the backside.
It was not a fumble.
It was not a fumble.
He was on the ground when the ball came out.
Very definitely, the official made a good call. It was not a fumble.
2nd and 8. Two tight ends, Hill and Hunter. Overthrown as he tried to get it to Bobby Duckworth. He was covered by Perry Williams. And a close-up look at Jeff Kemp, his dad, the congressman, is here at the game to enjoy it. His father was some quarterback, a good one.
Oh, he was a great quarterback for the Los Angeles Chargers, and then, of course, went to Buffalo, was with San Diego, but he was one of the very fine quarterbacks in the history of the American Football League.
It is 3rd down and 7. There are the figures for Kemp, who's played very little. Ted Watts and Herb White checking into the defensive backfield. There is a draw to Barry Redden. He did not get a first down. He's short by about a yard. There's a good call, but they couldn't pull it off. And there's another indication of the fact that the Rams are not going to gamble today.
Yeah, they're not going to. They have a lot of respect for the nickel defense of the New York Giants, and so they're not going to take any unnecessary chances by creating a situation where maybe they'll get a turnover and reduce the size of the field for the Giants. There's a good picture of Johnny Robinson, the head coach of the Los Angeles Rams.
And Dale Hatcher is punting for the 2nd time. Bill McConkey is back. We'll see if he signals for a fair catch. It's a high kick. Not as well covered this trip. And he returns it from the 13 to the 20 and down at the 21-yard line. Now the Giants get the ball for the 3rd time. They fumbled once. They punted once. They have it for the 3rd time. A tackle by Green. 7-0 Rams. We had a comparable day weather-wise yesterday. We look at the Giant bench, and the players said no way you can get tired in this kind of weather. The Rams lead by the score of 7-0. 8:05 left in the first quarter, and Phil Simms puts them to work from the 21. Bart Oates is the center, the rookie for Brigham Young. Fake to Morris. Good pass fake. Pass to Morris. Across the 30 and a first down. He doesn't let him alone when he came through without the ball.
Well, they faked. It was a play-action fake. They faked to him, and then, of course, we went right through the hole. and settled in the open area behind the linebacker. Watch him. He goes right up the middle. Fake. Really wasn't a very good fake. The linebackers go in opposite directions. There's the hole. Right in the middle of the two linebackers, and he gets upfield and gets about 5 extra yards on good effort by Joe Morris, number 20.
Eckern and Collins made the tackle at the 32, first down. Carthon in there blocking, and Morris blows loose for about 9 yards across the 40-yard line. It's fun to watch. Mike Wiltshire made the tackle on Morris, who has gained 573 yards this year.
We'll go right up the middle, and Bill Ard, number 67, makes a good block along with Maurice Carthon. They open up a seam, and Joe Morris blasts right through there for a nice gain.
Second down and 1. Carthon's in the backfield with him, and there's contact made by Desjardins. Now, whether Oates brought him offside or not, I don't know. Sometimes the center will turn the ball and bring the defense across.
Encroachment foul.
First down.
Number 70. Defense interfering with the snapper. First down.
The center can move the ball slightly as long as he keeps it on the ground. If he gets it off the ground, then it's a problem. There we see the picture of it. He's got it on the ground all the time.
Yeah, he didn't move it.
He did just...
he did, but the ball didn't.
Yeah, but he did a little bit, but the ball did not.
And he did move a little. First down at the 45.
He did that because he was trying to anticipate the snap of the count.
Manuel goes in motion. First down pass by Sims. Long and intercepted. Back the other way comes Leroy Irvin with his 6th of the year. And 2 turnovers for the Giants. The Rams have the ball at their own 45-yard line. Joe Morris made the tackle.
Surprising because Phil Sims had all the time in the world that time. Good pass protection. Threw it into the zone, and Leroy Irvin, watch it, goes back in the pocket to play action, but a very poor fake. Look, he's got plenty of time to throw the ball, and he throws it right over the top, and Irvin makes the catch. Manuel was open, but he threw it right over the top and just let go of the ball a little bit too soon instead of following through.
So the Rams get the ball at their 45. With Redden in the backfield along with Dickerson. Here comes Dickerson behind Redden, who missed the block. And the tackle was made by Perry Williams, who avoided the block of Barry Redden. We have some scores of other games with Buffalo out in front of Houston and a field goal by Norwood. And New Orleans jumps on top. Morton Anderson booted a 20-yarder. First quarter over Seattle. And another field goal by Tampa Bay over the Cardinals. Buquay kicked it, and a tie 7-7 first quarter. Minnesota had a Green Bay 7-0 first quarter. Woodley a pass to Stallworth in that Pittsburgh game. 2nd and 8. Sideline and caught. And a flag comes raining down. Henry Ellard caught the ball at the Giant 39. Who did what?
You know, the other thing on that alignment that time, instead of Taylor being the right linebacker, that time he was on the left side. He was on the left side over the tight end and was involved in coverage. Normally he plays the right linebacker position. That time he played on the left side.
Holding, number 55, defense, penalty decline.
So the pass is good to the 39-yard line of the Giants. Gary Reasons was called for holding. Linebacker in the middle along with Harry Carson. So the pass to Ellard stands.
Kemp was excited about this start, talking to him yesterday. He said, all I'm worried about is playing within myself, doing the best I can, and the rest of it will take care of itself. Good answer.
First down call by Kemp. Good offensive line. Red was drilled. And Burt wouldn't let anybody move. Jim Burt playing the middle. They've always said he's too small, but his club keeps winning with him playing that spot.
I tell you, anytime you have you played at 3-4, you have to have a strong, sturdy guy playing on the nose of the center. A situation where the center cannot block him alone. Burt is that kind of a nose man. He's terrific. He's 6'1", but he's got the legs of a guy about 5'8", so he moves very well up and down the line of scrimmage.
2nd and 10. off the corner, Perry Williams. And they sack Kemp for the first time.
They had nobody to block Perry Williams, a right cornerback, number 23. And again, he had great anticipation, anticipated the count. There you see him coming from the right side of your picture. Nobody touched him. The right corner blitzing, Perry Williams, number 23. A good picture of that. But nobody touched him.
Giants have 41 sacks this year. Now you'll see this call. It's 3rd and 19, but even this call probably will be very conservative by the Rams to lead here. Kemp calls timeout.
As I mentioned earlier, they're very, very respectful of the nickel defense of the New York Giants, and they don't want to make a mistake in this situation. So again, they're going to be very conservative. Anything they do will be a high percentage play.
The Rams are faced with 3rd and 19 with 4:33 left in the first quarter. They recovered a fumble earlier and scored a touchdown and a 1-yard run by Dickerson. Now they've intercepted a pass, but it's 3rd and 19. George Martin, Jerome Sally, Leonard Marshall are in there, along with Hunt, Reeses, Carson, Lawrence Taylor.
Their Pankey, number 75, is playing left tackle.
And Dickerson is out, Redden is in.
And Taylor is again the left linebacker instead of the right one this time, and Byron Hunt is over on this side.
Motion by Ellert. And it's underthrown. They tried to get it downfield to Duckworth. Incomplete, covered by Elvis Patterson.
And Marshall was the one, the receiver was open, except Leonard Marshall got the hit on Jeff Kemp, and as a watch right number 70, watch 70, Byron Hunt is blitzing, watch 70 spin, get to the quarterback, and right about the time he's starting to step and throw, he gets hit by Marshall, and the ball is thrown short and falls incomplete.
So here's another punt by Dale Hatcher, and this is his 3rd of the day.
He got a great drop the last time. Let's watch and see what kind of a drop he gets on this particular kick, because again, the wind is blowing from right to left, and you got to make sure that you drop the ball properly on your foot. Let's see the drop.
Bill McConkey is the deep man inside the 15, and he'll return this one from the 16 and out of bounds. They mark him at the 21-yard line. There's Leonard Marshall, number 70, along the bench. Newsom made that tackle. NFL Today report, Brent Musburger in New York.
Jack, it took the refrigerator and his friends. 7 cracks inside the 5. William Perry was just window dressing as the quarterback Steve Fuller took it in. Bears lead the Lions. Let's go back to Jack and Hank.
Bears were favored in that game against the Lions. That game being played at Chicago. Ball is at the 21-yard line. Carpenter and Morris are in the backfield. Carpenter on a wing. Morris with a pop up the middle and a big hit by the linebacker. Eckern came in and filled the hole. Very little gain.
Ball carried by Morris.
Giants have been unable to move the ball very much. That's not unusual against these Rams.
Oh, they're tough. They're very stingy. They average giving up 92 yards rushing per game, which is very strong and a great compliment to that defensive line and linebacker crew.
On the other hand, the Giants have rushed for over 135 yards a game. We'll see who prevails here today. 2nd down. Motion by Morris. Like to throw the ball to Carpenter. He's out in the pattern, and there goes Sims running. He has a first down, I think. He may have ducked down a little too early.
Mike Wilshire that time came from the backside and made the tackle. Boy, it was a great effort on his part. It looked like he was going to scamper for a longer gain than that, but Mike Wilshire, number 54, made the tackle.
I think he went down a little too early. Hank, it's just a guess, but I think he's short.
Watch Wilshire on the right side being blocked by Benson, and then number 60. Then he comes back from behind in a great effort and gets a piece of his foot and knocks him down. Now they're measuring for the first down, but a great effort by Mike Wilshire, 54.
He made a first down. I thought he went down of his own volition. I didn't see him tripped up like that. The ball is at the Giant 31.
First down on the 31.
3:26 left in the first quarter. John Robinson, the head coach of the Rams. Their next game will be at Atlanta. First down. good move at the line of scrimmage to get about 8 yards. Tackle by Carl Eckert. He moved very quickly for a fellow his size.
Yeah, he read the blocks very well. So they faked the pitch, and Dejanay takes the side of the center, which means that the ball carrier is going to run. Carpenter is going to run to the opposite side. He read it very well, and that's the important thing. As a running back, you got to keep your head up and your eyes open.
2nd down and 2. Godfrey made a good block, the right guard, on that last play. Here comes Morris, and a looping tackle was made. Somebody wheeled in behind him and brought him down. Was that Cromwell? Yeah. He was really cheating up there, and it's 3rd down. No gain.
Cromwell made the tackle.
Mr. Cromwell was quick, wasn't he? Former quarterback.
Yes, he was. And I talked to him before the game, and I said, good luck. And he said, don't worry, Coach, I'll be there. He was there on that last play.
Making it 3rd and 2 again. 2:10 left in the first quarter. 7-0 Rams. Python in the backfield with Morris. Well, they stacked him up and see what kind of... I think he got forward progress enough for a first down. He did. Out to the 42.
That Goody, number 62, was playing the tight end on the left side that time.
His dad was a good player.
Yes, he was. And it's funny, Bill Purcell said that they thought that Goody was one of the best, one of the top 5 in the reporting aspect of the National Football League. Very eloquent and did a great job of reporting that he was a tight end on that particular play.
Wearing number 62.
62.
Collins made that last tackle along with Doss and Wiltshire. First down pass by Sims, and he drills the ball, and he's whistled dead for a sack. It would either have been a sack or intentional grounding, and that's the sack on Sims by Mel Owens, the linebacker, 58.
Watch Mel Owens blitzing on the play, number 58. There you see him, 58, going to the outside. Gets a piece of the tackle. The guard, Nelson, comes out to try to push him away, but in spite of that, he gets penetration and makes the sack on the quarterback, Mel Owens, number 58.
That's the first sack of Phil Sims today, and it makes it 2nd down and 17.
That was a play-action fake, Jack, and they're really not faking very well on the play-action.
Morris in motion. Swing pass caught by Carpenter. And he's back. Not quite to the original line of scrimmage before Gary Green and Carl Eckern tackled him. Are the Rams blitzing a little more than they usually do, Hank?
They're blitzing a little bit more on first down, Jack, because I think they're trying to break some tendencies and some established things that they have done in the past, and they're trying to cross them up a little bit, and I think they're doing a pretty good job of mixing up and especially blitzing on the first down, especially when they're throwing play-action passes.
We have 15 seconds left in the first quarter. This is 3rd and 12. 6 defensive backs, including Jerry Gray and Vince Newsom for the Rams.
Four-man rush.
Then throws it long and way over the head of Bobby Johnson, the intended receiver, number 88. So the Giants will have to punt, and the Rams have him pretty well stymied. Johnny Johnson was downfield covering. So here's a punt coming up by Landetta. This punter's name is Sean Landetta. I said, those two names don't go together, do they? He said, well, my parents are both Spanish. Here's a boom punt. Well, there he bombed that one. Let's see if it goes in. And it'll come out to the 20-yard line. Well, the Giants could have gotten a good bounce. That was a 61-yard punt, but it'll come back out to the 20, and that's the end of the first quarter. The Rams have the ball. Rams have the lead.
And the guide is available.
There's the defensive unit of the Rams on the bench as their offense holds forth from the 20-yard line.
Jack Youngblood is even on the bench. Number 80, number 85.
A little inspiration, huh?
Yep.
Now retired, of course. Here's Kemp with a first down pass. Caught by Ellert for a first down. Out to the 32. Beautiful timing on that throw. Dieter Brock, who had a kidney stone removed, didn't even make the trip.
There you see Ellard. Patterson has turned in a little bit, and he stops in front, comes back a little bit for the ball. The ball's right on the money. A beautiful shot. And talking to Henry yesterday on the field before the game, he said, I think we ought to be able to throw in front of the defensive backs. That was a great illustration of it right there.
First down at the 32. Hunter in motion. And a toss to Eric Dickerson. Stopped some tackles and made some yards out near the 38-yard line. Tackled by Kenny Hill. Along with Lawrence Taylor was putting the pressure on, and Dickerson ran by him. So the Bears carried the 7-0 lead into the second quarter over the Lions.
Second and 4.
Green Bay gets on the board and they trail. Del Greco a field goal, 7-3, Minnesota second quarter. Cincinnati ahead of Cleveland in the second period by the score of 7-0, and Buffalo ahead of Houston 10-0 in the first quarter. Buffalo trying to win their second game. Rick Bell had a touchdown. Second down and 4. Dickerson a first down out to the 47-yard line. Terry Kennard the tackler. Another score. New Orleans ahead of Seattle in the second quarter, 3-0. And Philadelphia, the Eagles, leading Atlanta 7-0 second quarter. Philadelphia trying to get to the 500 mark. Scoreless in the second period. Indianapolis playing New England tough. New England with that record of 6-3. And Tampa Bay in the second quarter still leading the Cardinals 3-0. And Pittsburgh ahead of Kansas City 10-7 second quarter. Here it's 7-0 Rams early in the second period. First down call. Bit of a delay to Dickerson. It flew wide open. He's down into Giant territory. Down to the 44 before Harry Carson tackled him. And the offensive line of the Rams is doing the job.
Second and 1.
All right, here we see the counter play. Look at the good block by Hill. Ken Hill, 72, and Pankey, number 75.
Second down and 1 as Dickerson ran for 9, and he has 48 yards, 11 carries. There's number 12. Here's the reverse. And Ron Brown gets the first down, dives to the 40-yard line. So the Rams using a little trickery to keep the Giants off balance, stop their pursuit. Hill and Kennard made the tackle. Brown, of course, the former Olympian, a part of the relay team, the 400-meter relay team that won the gold medal. He can run the 62 style. He's never had a training camp, by the way. Olympics one year, ill this year, so he's getting better all the time. First down.
And every time he gets in a game, why the defensive backs start to retreat because they expect him to go long.
Kemp throws, and it's caught by Ellard. Ellard is down. What a throw by Kemp down to the 19-yard line. How do you stop that one, Henry?
This is a slant pass, and if he throws it right on the numbers, which he does, he licks Patterson on the inside. The ball is right on the numbers. That kind of a ball has to be thrown there, Jack, because if you throw it high, it can ricochet and be intercepted. If you throw it low, if anything, make sure you make a mistake low, because if you drop it, it's going to go right to the turf and will not be intercepted.
Patterson and Kennard made the tackle at the 24-yard line. That's a first down. Tosses to Dickerson. Hill made there goes a flag. Hill made a pretty good block, and the Giant players are pointing at Tony Hunter, saying that he held. Lawrence Taylor made the tackle. Holding Rams. Well, that slows him down.
Hill made the tackle. Flag on the play.
Nothing stops you more than that.
Number 87, offense. First down.
Tony Hunter's responsibility at number 87. He goes in motion to the right side, and watch what happens. He's blocking on the outside on Kenny Hill, and evidently grabs his arm on the inside and is holding. There you see a picture of it, and that's what they call on the play, holding on the part of Tony Hill, number 87. Or Tony Hunter, I'm sorry.
Tony Hill will play later here on CBS today. Ball's at the 34, first and 20. Motion by David Hill. Screen pass. Hunter. And through people. Big game for the Rams on first down, and missed tackles by Hunt and others, and Hill finally finished the play off.
That time they had a double screen that time. He faked to the left and then went back to the right and throws the pass. Watch, he looks off to the left and then throws the ball to the right side to Tony Hunter. And look at the great job of running. He runs right through a would-be tackler and gets a nice gain on the play. Gary Reasons, number 55, finally makes the tackle. Watch Hill blocking Kennard on the blitz. That's the kind of a match you want.
2nd and 7. Delay to Dickerson. Broke a tackle. Trying to get outside. Slants inside. 3rd down and short coming up, and he may have made a 1st down. Well, he can move.
Can he move? And David Hill, number 81, made a good block. And that's a play that's equivalent to what the Washington Redskins call their counter tray play.
Kennard is down. He weighs 200 pounds, but he tried to make the tackle. He was a part of the tackle, and he got stretched out. We have 10:07 left in the half. Timeout on the field. 7-0 Los Angeles. Harry Kennard walked off, but he has an ache over there on the bench.
Here we see how it happens. Watch Kennard on the right of the screen. There he is, number 43, coming in to tackle Eric Dickerson, number 29, from the backside. And there's a pileup. Gary Reasons, number 55, comes in, and evidently he got squeezed in the bottom of that pile. But he walked off the field in good shape.
It's 3rd down and inches from the 14-yard line. Bill Bain is in as a tight end on the left side. And a quarterback sneak. And apparently it works behind that good center, Doug Smith. Smith and Bird is quite a matchup here today.
Yeah, they're both good leverage guys. Good and low. They understand the importance of leverage. He got underneath him that time and got a good push. And Kemp was able to make the necessary yards for the 1st down.
55 Reasons made the tackle. There's Burt, number 64. He's the nose guard in the 3-man front. 9 plays on this drive, which started at the 20-yard line. Well, it's a good one by the Rams, running and passing. Good work by Byron Hunt. He wouldn't give up, and the big linebacker tracked him down and knocked him down for the 2nd sack of the day against the Rams. By the way, Herb Welch, the rookie from UCLA, is playing in the defensive backfield for the Giants.
Watch Byron Hunt fighting off the block of the tight end, and he gets penetration, and it stays in hot pursuit. He's tall, he's rangy, and David Hill is trying to block him, but Byron Hunt gets the penetration and makes the sack on the play.
At the New York 22, making it 2nd down and 20. A delay to Dickerson. Taylor slowed him down, and then Eric was brought down. The tackler was Henry Hill.
Ball carried by Dickerson.
8:38 left in the half. Look at Jeff Kemp surveying the situation, looking over to the bench. Barry Redden comes in. It's 3rd down and 12 coming up.
Boy, that was a counter play again. They call it a gap play, where the left guard and left tackle, that time Pankey, 75, and Ken Hill were pulling to the right on the play.
At the New York 14, 3rd and 12. Duckworth and Ellard are both to the right. 3rd wide receiver, Michael Young. Good block by Redden. Pass to Young. End zone. He went the other way. Young made a move in the end zone, and Kemp misread it. Threw incomplete. Mike Welch was covering. So 2 former UCLA athletes, Welch and Young, were going at it in the end zone. It's 4th down. Field goal kicker Lansford has kicked 10 out of 13. As long as 52 yards. And the barefoot kicker will try one here. Steve Dills will hold. 36-yard try. And they make it 10-0. It snaps, set, good. And makes it 10-0 here in favor of the Rams. There was some drive that started at their 20, but at least the Giants avoided the touchdown. It's 10-0. Lansford, who just kicked the field goal of 36 yards, will boot it. And George Adams is back on the goal line for the Giants with 8:29 left in the half.
Adams and Morris.
Adams will down the ball, and a flag is down back upfield, and the Giants may have been offside when they kicked off. If so, the Giants will make them kick it over. It's Jerry Markbright. Trying to get the number of the offender. Jerry was going to tell us there, but he hasn't yet.
It looked like it might have been Jerry Gray, number 25, Jack. Let's see what they call.
So George Adams might get another whack at it here.
Watching Adams in practice the other day, boy, he looks like he's going to be a terrific back. He's got good hands, good speed, good lean. He's got it all. He looks like he's going to be a super back in his league.
A rookie out of Kentucky. They like him. 6'1", 225. 3.5-yard rushing average. And his kickoff returns almost 17 yards per kick. Now the wind blew off the kicking tee. It's a swirling wind, and a lot of these receivers may have difficulty handling the ball, particularly on punts. Now Irvin's going to hold it. There's a wind blowing atop the stadium. This kick will be returned by Adams from the 10. Big hit shy of the 25-yard line. Now the Giants, whose offense hasn't been perking today, will try to get going. Next Saturday, CBS Sports College Football presents two key conference matchups. Most will see Iowa, 6th in the nation, along with their quarterback Chuck Long, take on Purdue. Iowa had a big win yesterday, or Maryland against Clemson, and that's at Clemson, and that'll be a tough chore for Maryland. Those games next Saturday on CBS. Byron Williams in motion, and a delay to Joe Morris. And Morris is across the 25 for a couple. Morris is 5'7", 195. What did they tell you about his strength, Hank?
Talking to Johnny Parker, the strength coach, he said, I asked him, who's the strongest guy on your team? And you wouldn't believe, he said, Joe Morris. And he also mentioned that the other guy on the team that was very strong was Jim Burt.
Here is second down and 8. Morris again, pursued by Wiltshire. And Wiltshire gets some help, and a few yards on that one, with Gary Green finishing the playoff. And Wiltshire can move.
Watch 54 come all the way from the right side in hot pursuit. See the important thing, he takes a good angle right down a line of scrimmage. Look at him in hot pursuit from the backside is in on the tackle. Boy, what a great play. Great play.
3rd and 3. First downs have been tough to come by for Sims and company. Off the fingertips. And incomplete.
Wiltshire
tried to get it out to Galbraith, who can really catch the ball, but he couldn't reach it.
Wiltshire was blitzing on the play again. That time, the time before that, we see him going from right to left. Now look at the pressure. Watch Wiltshire, number 54, coming on the inside. Nobody touches him until the very last second, but it's too late. He gets a piece of the quarterback by the time they get a piece of him.
Sims is 3 out of 8 for 13 yards. That's all. Henry Ellard is back awaiting this punt. Sean Lindetta. Flag is down. That'll be a first down if the Giants get the penalty and will negate this punt by Lindetta inside the 15-yard line. Looks like the Rams are offside, and that'll be a first down. That's one way to get them.
I can't understand why they would be offside on a punt situation. They're not going to try to block the kick. They want to take a chance to roughen the kicker. There's no place for them to go. All they got to do is look to the inside, wait for the ball.
Offside, number 22, defense, first down.
Vince Newsom was offside. You know, Robinson doesn't like that. There he is. He did it. He thought the center was going to snap the ball. Well, he wasn't alone.
Johnson, 27, Gary Green.
One go, they all go.
Yeah, follow the leader.
And
That's what happened on the play.
And a first down at the Giant, 36. .649 remaining in the half. Greg Meissner is in there at the nose guard for the Rams. He wears number 69 up front with Reed and Goss. Beautiful catch and a big gain, Manuel. Reached up like a baseball outfielder with Gary Green covering. Big play.
Manuel lined up on the right side, and talking to him yesterday, he thought he could run inside patterns to drive Green back and then break on the inside. The ball was high. Boy, that's a tough catch and a great catch by Manuel. Number 86, and he does a good job of squirming up the field and picks up another 4 yards on the play with great effort.
21-yard pickup to the Ram 43. Another first down pass. Joe Morris. That's a first down. Inside the 35, Carl Eckern tackled him along with Gary Green.
Here's another play-action fake. Watch, they fake here to Joe Morris. Not a very good fake, but he goes right between the linebackers, anchors in the hole between the linebackers. There you see Eckern, number 55, coming in a good tackling position, and he makes the play.
First down at the Ram 33. 5.5 left in that. Williams in motion. Give to Morris. Oh, he'd have gone someplace if he'd have gone outside behind Billy Ard, wouldn't he? But he cut back in and ran into the arms of Doug Reed.
By Morris, Reed, and Johnson.
I kidded him the other day a little bit about being so short and whether it was any kind of an advantage, which I think it is when you have a big offensive line, because all you do is see the top of their hats. You don't see much of them. With our great backs at Kansas City, the little guys we had, Mike Garrett, who was such a great back for us, was 5'9", and really you couldn't find him back there very often, and as a result, with his quick moves and everything, why he really made some sensational play.
Ray Jeter is in there for the Rams. He sends over through his man. He tried to get it to the tight end, Bavaro, and the fans hoot and howl. They thought that Sims had him, and he led him too much with Nolan Cromwell covering. 3rd and 9.
They look like they're getting a little rhythm to their offense, Jack. They weren't able to do anything at all early. It looked like they were very, very careful. It looked like they were playing the game with a fear of losing it rather than with the idea of winning it.
And they're behind 10-0, so they've got to open up a little bit. 6 defensive backs for Los Angeles. 3rd and 9.
Wilshire again, and
The ball came loose. He was sacked, a fumble, and Wilshire was putting the pressure on. And who has the ball? The Rams have the ball.
Well, I tell you, that Wilshire's a great player.
Here's the second sack.
Watch the replay of it. Look at Jeter goes in the inside, and Wilshire goes in the outside, and the back is not able to pick him up. And for that reason, Tony Galbraith, number 30, was not able to get in front of him in time, and he goes right by him and makes the sack.
The Rams did not get the ball back, and Lindetta tries to kick it inside the 20, and it's taken on a fair catch at the 10-yard line by Johnson. So the Rams stopped that drive, and there's Mike Wilshire. He's been a force out here today. When you see a team like the Giants struggling like this, you don't know whether to give the Rams all of the credit or point the finger at Phil Simms and company.
Well, I really think you have to give the Rams an awful lot of credit. They're a great defensive team. They don't give you anything. You know, whatever you get from the Rams, you have to earn. I think this is going to be a will game. I think the team with the stronger will throughout, who can express that will consistently, will eventually win this football game. And I think that the Giants at this particular stage of the game, I think they're playing with a fear of losing rather than being on the attack and trying to make something happen to win the game.
Tony Hunter told us yesterday of the Rams, he said this would be the kind of the game where you don't want to blink. Don't blink, don't make a mistake.
Well, and so far the mistake early in the game with the fumble, that's really been the difference in the game so far.
And John Robinson is on top here by the score of 10-0 with 4:25 left in the half. There's Phil Simms, 5 out of 11 and 1 picked off. He had Bavaro in the clear earlier but missed him, and now the Giants want to pen the Rams back up in their own territory. But Kemp and Dickerson have other ideas from the 11. Motion by Allard and a give to Barry Redden. Couple of yards. Leaping on him with Lawrence Taylor along with Gary Reasons. Terry Kennard is back in there, by the way. He was injured earlier, number 43, so that's good news for the Giants. They have Mark Haynes available to play some today, but we haven't seen him yet. Second down. And 7. I don't think we'll find the Rams throwing down here. They ask Dickerson. Oh, nothing good. A loose ball. Loose ball. Maybe a fumble. Maybe. Giants think they have it. Some of the Giant players think they have the ball.
Looks like they have it.
Do they? They do. Looks like McGriff came away with it. They're going to give it to him or not? No, they're not going to call it a fumble. They never did rule a fumble or indicate a fumble. It's going to be 3rd and long for Los Angeles.
Boy, they dodged a bullet there that time, Jack. It didn't look like Dickerson really had good control of the ball as he hit the hole. It looked like he was a little insecure, and that's why evidently it popped out. Let's take a look here. See, well, you can't get a good look at it. It looked like he was kind of moving it a little bit to the side, and maybe that's what made it look like he wasn't secure.
3.5 left in the half, and Kemp comes to the sideline.
First charge timeout, Giants.
Here's a timeout called by the Giants to stop the clock with 3:32 left in the half. And there's our score, 10-0. A 1-yard run by Dickerson, 36-yard field goal by Lansford. Bill Parcells wants to stop him on this 3rd down play, get the ball back. Tampa Bay widens their lead over the Cardinals on a pass to Edgar Armstrong from DeBerg. 10-0 second quarter. And Pittsburgh leads Kansas City by 6 in the second quarter. Close game. New England by 1 over Indianapolis in the second period, and a pass from Grogan to Stanley Morgan. Those two are still perking. Philadelphia blanking Atlanta 14-0 second quarter. Jaworski scored the second touchdown. Ernest Jackson got the first. And Chicago widens their lead over Detroit 14-0. Calvin Thomas on a 7-yard run there in the second quarter. Jim Burt talking to the headlinesman. The Giants have been yelping at the officials throughout most of the day.
I think they're still squeaking about the fact they thought they had the ball on the fumble.
3rd down and 7. Hear this crowd. Defense are yelling. Allard and Duckworth come to the right. Michael Young to the left. Tucker Kemp to here. A delay to Dickerson. First down and more. Is anybody? Are they going to get him? Down he goes. Down at the 45 of New York. Barry Redden running with the ball. He broke loose, broke tackles, and moved down to the 45-yard line. Andy Hedden tackled it.
Pankey really does a great job of blocking the defensive end, Casey Merrill. He's way out of the picture. Now you see him come back into the picture, number 71. But Barry Redden gets through that big hole and really scampers down the field in great shape. Finally tackled by Herb Welch, number 27. Boy, what a hole on that left side.
41-yard gain to the 45 of New York. Kemp to Ellard. First down inside the 30. Second time they pulled that one off today.
Here we see another shot of Ellard running inside of Patterson, number 34. Look, he fades to the outside a little bit, which gives him, and his back pedal, which gives him the inside. And, of course, the catch is right on the money. Henry Ellard right on the number. A beautiful throw by Jeff Kemp.
Barry Kennard made the tackle at the 27. Motion by Hunter. Dickerson. Reasons with a big hit and a tackle at the 25. Takes us to the 2-minute warning. Rams have all the points, and they're on the move again. They lead 10-0.
There we see Steve Dills on the right of Johnny Robinson. They were just discussing the possibility of a certain play. Robinson was smiling a little bit, and he has a right to be smiling at this stage of the game, but it's a long way from being over.
He's trying to win his 9th game of the year. Rams recovered a fumble, went in to score, put a good drive together, and got a field goal. And they lead 10-0 with 2 minutes left in the half.
Herb Welch is in there for Terry Kennard, number 43, 27 for 43.
2nd and 8. Dickerson. Well, Leonard Marshall didn't make the tackle, but he made him go back inside, and Jim Burt made the hit, and it's 3rd down.
You know, the people that I talk to around the league, they invariably refer to Marshall as the best defensive right end in the National Football League the way he's playing today. Talked to him yesterday, and he was ecstatic about the success of the Giants and very happy about the way he's playing. He spent most of the offseason working out physically to get ready for this season.
Barry Redden is in the backfield. Hunter on a wing. 3rd and 6. And incomplete. Bobbled by Tony Hunter, who couldn't pull it in, and Elvis Patterson was covering. It's 4th down, and Lansford will go for 3.
Here you see Hunter going in motion to the right side, and then breaks off Byron Hunt. He doesn't get depth at all, and he doesn't see the ball soon enough, and for that reason it hits his hands and ricochets off. But really the problem was that he did not locate the ball soon enough out in front.
The ball will be held by Dills. Lansford will try a 40-yarder. Hit one earlier of 36 yards. That's good. That makes it 13-0. Well, at least the Giants have avoided touchdowns on the last 2 Rams drives. But now they find themselves down by 13 with 1:13 left in the half. Coming up at halftime on our telecast today, Brent Musburger is joined by George Allen. Scores, highlights of other games, and the story, the legends of the game, the over-the-hill gang, some of whom are still playing there for the Redskins.
And the tradition of the Redskins that was established by George Allen goes on, and they've become one of the exciting teams, one of the solid franchises in the National Football League under Joe Gibbs, who has really done a terrific job along with Bobby Becker.
We have 1:13 left in the half. Let's watch John Robinson as Lansford kicked it through.
Well, he's down in that 2-point stance. He gets up, and he gives the indication that it goes right through there. Not much animation yet. Let's see, John.
He doesn't get very excited, does he?
No, he's smiling a little bit. There he gives it. There he gives it to, yeah. There he goes.
Lansford will kick it off. George Adams is back at the goal line. Kick return teams and the offensive unit have done very little for the Giants. Once again, the ball blows off the kicking tee.
You know, got to be very careful with the wind blowing sideways like this that you hold the ball for the kicker, because in the event that you don't, and he's in the process of kicking the ball and it blows off there, he could really hurt his leg, hurt his knee. It'd really be a big problem. So it's much, much better for him to hold the ball just like they're doing it right now with Leroy Irvin.
Adams is chased deep into the end zone and pinned into the corner and will not bring it back. Well, later today, coming up here on CBS, will be the Dallas Cowboys playing at the Washington Redskins. You're familiar with the great rivalry between these two clubs over the years. For example, let's go back through the doors of your memory and take you back to Thanksgiving Day of 1974 when Clint Longley came off the bench. Roger Staubach was injured. He found Drew Pearson for the winning touchdown with 28 seconds left. 24-23, Dallas won it. I wonder what will happen later today. You'll see it. The Cowboys at RFK. We have 1:13 left. Sims has a long way to go, and he overthrows Bobby Johnson. He was horse-collared by Leroy Irvin, and there is no flag. The ball had gone by, incomplete.
Did you see the way that ball took off, Jack? The wind is coming from the side. I hate to belabor the point, but it sailed that time and blew right over the top. See, there you see it coming over the top. But from up in the press box, you could see it sail once the wind got a piece of the ball.
Mr. Irvin said hello to Mr. Johnson along the sideline.
He tried to shake him down a little bit.
Second down and 10. 1:09 left in the half. 6 defensive backs for the Rams. To the sideline, and it is caught, but only a modest gain as Adams took it down. And a hurry-up offense for the Giants from their 26.
And the one thing the Giants have to be careful of, they're trying to get the ball down the field. They don't make another mistake and provide the Rams with an opportunity to get another 3 points on the ball on the board before the half.
Here's the running play, and the Rams stopped that one. And that hurts them with regard to the clock, and the Giants call a timeout with 42 seconds left in the half. Tony Galbraith carried the ball, but he was stacked up short of a first down. And a flag and a face mask.
Foul on number 70. It's a 5-yard penalty and a first down.
Call against Charles DeJournay. Now the Giants have not called a timeout. The penalty flag stopped the clock. Ball is at the 38 of New York. Giants love to get down the board with something. Each have 2 timeouts remaining. And a big play. Down inside the 45 with Lino Manuel taking it down. And covered by Jerry Gray. Now the Giants stop it with 31 seconds left in the half. Giants have 1 more timeout remaining. He strung that one out, didn't he?
Manuel really gets off the ball and sells him on the idea. He's going deep, good protection, and watch Phil Simms step up into the pocket, whistles it. He makes an inside move on Gary Green right in the open area, does a good job of running, and finally Jerry Gray, number 25, makes the tackle.
With 31 seconds left in the half. Want to save that last time out, if at all possible, to get the field goal unit on the team, if nothing else.
I think the last pass also was a great indication, an illustration of how well Simms will throw if he has a chance. There's Schubert warming up in the bullpen, Jack.
High school teacher. He was a hero last week against Tampa Bay. He kicked 5 for 5. Haji Sheikh is still not available to the Giants. Schubert was told that he was going to be held over to this week, so it's no surprise. Played college football at Pittsburgh. He wants to end up kicking regularly for somebody. He may have found a home right here. Haji Sheikh may have trouble getting the job back. First down at the 43 of Los Angeles. Barry Jeter is in there, Sean Miller, Charles DeJournay, and Doug Reed in a 4-man front. Along with it, McConkey caught the ball, picked up about 7 yards, and went out of bounds with Leroy Irvin on top of him. That's the sort of patterns the Giants need to move the ball and stop the clock.
Second
Watch McConkey on the left side. Gets off the ball. Leroy Irvin is playing soft. Naturally, in this situation, he throws the ball on the outside, and he takes it out of bounds and stops the clock.
2nd down and 3. Ability to run and throw on the run to Bobby Johnson puts the Giants on the board with 16 seconds left in the half, and doesn't that change things around?
Turns around in one play.
Johnson gets his 4th of the year. The extra point try is good by Schubert, and now the Giants trail by only 6.
Johnson is inside on the 3 receivers. There you see him. 88. And Phil Simms, then he breaks to the inside. Simms does a remarkable job of escaping pressure and gets the ball in the middle area to Bobby Johnson. And he goes in the end zone for the touchdown. Great speed, great running ability once he makes the catch, but a terrific play. There's Johnson, but a great play by Phil Simms.
Simms is getting a little hotter now. He's 9 out of 16. For 117 yards. Is he hurt? 1 touchdown, 1 pass intercepted, having a little difficulty with his shoulder.
It looked like Doug Reed, number 93, gave him a shot about the time he was throwing a football, and that might have caused the problem that he has on the bench.
So we shall see as the doctor checks out the well-being of his right shoulder. The other quarterbacks for the New York Giants are Jeff Rutledge, Jeff Hostetler. Neither one of whom has thrown a ball all year. Here's a squib kick, and it stays in bounds, taking up some of the time. It's touchdown. The clock starts. Ron Brown is buried down around the 16-yard line. And it looks like 13-7 is going to be our halftime score. Let's watch what happened to Simms at the tail end of the touchdown pass.
There he is in a shotgun. There's Jeter, number 77, coming. DeJournay, number 70. And there you see Reed on the outside. He just makes a tackle on him, and it looks like maybe what he did, he fell on his shoulder, Jack. I think that's probably what happened. He was extended on the follow-through as he fell down, and I think that's what created the problem.
From the bench, they say that Simms is okay. Reed weighs 262, and he thumped on top of him. So apparently he is going to play the second half, and the Rams just run it out. Neither team wants to make use of the final 5 seconds. Well, we figured it was going to be close, and it is. And Simms apparently is all right. Touchdown by Dickerson, 2 field goals by Lansford, touchdown pass to Johnson. The end of the first half with the score 13-7 Rams.
By Liberty Mutual for your auto, home, life, and business insurance. Castrol, the motor oil engineered for smaller cars. And by Radio Shack, the computer experts.